It took a minute, but after years of auditioning, I finally booked my next project in Law & Order Special Victims Unit. I play a guest star who is one of the main victims of this episode of the show. I'm gonna walk you through a little bit of the behind the scenes process from finding out I get the audition to wrapping on my last day of set. I'm gonna try my best not to give any spoilers, and if you'd like to watch the episode for yourself, you can either stream it on Peacock or purchase it right here on YouTube. Links are in the description below. The timing of this audition was funny because right after I shaved my head, I had all of this career momentum. And as my hair grew out, the less successful my auditions ended up becoming. And when I was looking back at my shaved head auditions, I think that they really captured the essence of the characters I tend to read for better than my long hair. And that was just a hypothesis until I shaved my head, and then immediately all of my auditions after I found major success with. I went from 0 callbacks, nothing with the long hair, to all of a sudden I shave my head, and then the first 3 auditions I have major success with. Part of how I know the hair was sort of the secret is on set, I spent 0 minutes in the hair trailer every single day. They just looked at me and said I was perfect. Let me read the character description that I got to play off of. Atlas DeWitt, Julia's stepbrother, her total opposite, unathletic, a lovable misfit, but not a creep. An average student, introverted, hasn't found his way in life, quiet, spends most of his time retreating into the world of video games until he decides to take a secret obsession much too far. I actually had 2 days to workshop this. And in 2 days, you simply don't have time to do a full character breakdown. Thankfully, as I got this audition, I got a veil check for a series regular role that had the exact same character description. I'm talking about almost word for word. It was the exact same character. I did a bunch of deep dives into the journaling, figured out his relationships to his parents. Then when I got this 48-hour turnaround, because the characters were identical, I got to really use a lot of what I discovered about him through this other role that I then just injected into this character with a couple obvious changes. I not only had an edge in that this is the exact character type I thrive in, but I also just had this meaty breakdown that I would assume the majority of actors auditioning for this simply did not have the luxury of having. Let's talk about the crazy timeline. I auditioned for this role Tuesday, March 18th. It was due 2 o'clock Pacific time. I found out I booked the role Wednesday night, March 19th, and I was flown out Thursday morning, March 20th, and I was on set for my very first day the following Monday. That's how quick these turnarounds can be. We're going to watch the first scene of this audition.
Take us through yesterday morning when this guy approached you.
Yeah, so we walked past the front door of this place, and he was just kind of leaning there.
You'll notice I'm wearing this hoodie. It's because I'm playing this 17-year-old, and as a 25-year-old, I need as much help as possible to look as young as possible. Plus, I do work out 4 times a week. I go rock climbing, and so I do have somewhat athletic physique that my agent has been wanting me to get rid of because it doesn't fit the type of characters that I play. I've learned how to strategically dress myself so that I look as unathletic as possible, and sweatshirts tend to be the easiest way to go.
And then what?
Well, he showed us his gun. Julia gasped, and the next thing I knew, he was pushing her inside.
This was a brilliant note that my girlfriend gave me while we were filming. Because of how innocent this character was, she told me, try to give them puppy dog eyes. I'm just this sad, helpless boy that is going through this difficult time. I think it softens me up. It makes me look a lot more young as well. It's the easiest way if you're struggling with your characters looking too mature for their age.
And you followed?
Yeah. I wasn't just gonna leave her alone.
That was brave.
And then I think he saw me behind him following, and I guess it pissed him off.
Why do you say that?
Well, because he made me get in the elevator too.
I'm doing a good job of making sure the pace is crisp because, again, we have 45 minutes to tell an entire story. We can't afford for the actor to take dramatic pauses every other line. I am going to have a pause coming up, but I've earned that pause by letting the rest of it be quick.
What happened in the room?
Well, after he closed the door,
That's the pause that I earned.
he put me in the bathroom. And he told me that if I came out, he was gonna kill Julia.
So you stayed in there the whole time?
Yeah. And I heard Julia crying.
Is it a little forced? Yes, but that's not bad for this character. Watch the show and you'll understand why. Leaning into your strongest typecast, whether or not it's 100% the character you're auditioning for, sounds great. This is something you need to workshop with an acting teacher because you are way too close to it to have an objective perspective on your craft. If you're interested, I am offering free acting review videos for new members that join my free online acting community, the Actors Locker Room. Once you get accepted, you'll be able to upload a demo reel, an acting audition, or just any clip that you've recently done from a short film or class, and I'll give you my professional feedback not only on some parts of the craft you could improve on, but whether or not I feel like it is fully accurately representing a typecast that you could play. So if you're struggling on getting clear with what your typecast is, this could be a great starting point for you. Apply for my community with the link in the description and make sure I get to review some of your juicy, delicious acting. One of the best compliments I got from Mariska is that I was one of the most focused actors that she worked with. And the reason that is because I understood the job is not over until wrap. A mistake I made on Stranger Things and FBI is after I got my close-up, it felt like I could relax. It felt like I did the thing. I did what I set out to do. I'm proud of myself. And I would allow that to take me out of the scene and in turn make me a terrible scene partner for the other people in the scene. They would be so giving to me and then I would not return serve. And I think I did a really good job on this set to acknowledge that I had plenty of excuse to take myself out of it and relax because my close-ups are great. But because I refused to do that, I stayed dialed in and brought at least 90% of what I had to every single take, whether or not I was on camera. My scene partners specifically loved working with me. The other thing that I didn't realize in that moment is when you watch the show, it looks seamless in my performance because even me in the foreground plays really strong. It also helped me because at the very end, they went back to my coverage. And I would not have been ready to go back to another close-up of myself if I hadn't been dialed in all of those takes leading up to it. I really do think this is my best performance and I'm very proud of it. So we will break it down later on where I can go even more in depth with some of these lessons that I've learned. But the second most important lesson is to be malleable with your delivery, but consistent with your movement. Every single angle, the movement and the positioning matches. I also had the most spontaneous and unexpected delivery of every single line. I was so open to my scene partners and I had every single take come with some slight variation on the delivery. This is what Mariska told me on set that I think is so brilliant. What makes acting special is when we do something we never expected, because for this one moment, we actually capture something real because it can't be planned. The real things just can't be planned. And when you can have a scene where you have so many of these unplanned moments, that's when you capture that magic because you are actually creating truth in those moments. And I think we captured that a lot in this series. Hopefully you enjoyed some of this behind the scenes look into filming an episode of Law and Order and some of the lessons that I learned along the way. Please, please, please go watch the show either streaming on Peacock or buy it for $2 on YouTube. I probably get like 0.00001 cents every time you buy Law and Order on YouTube. So I would really appreciate that as a way to support the channel. And go leave a review for us on either Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb to boost us up in the rankings. If you enjoyed this, you will definitely enjoy me breaking down my other Dick Wolf procedural show, FBI, which you can check right here, where I actually go through my performance, what I loved and hated, and give you all of the juicy lessons along the way.